monkey calm down. Oh, monkey calm down. Monkey calm down to you. Monkey down to you. Monkey. Oh, soldier monkey calm down to you. Monkey calm down to you. Monkey calm down to you. Once upon the time in the jungle, there lived so many animals and so many trees. During the day, there were no restriction. Anytime, any day, anyone used to corrupt and go start free in the jungle, yeah. After they realized that everything was good, I said everyone were only after the food. Majority of the people went beyond baboon, and few people went beyond okay. The headers of the time made a big mistake. After election, they went and made a selection. So the citizen of the jungle was unsatisfied, so they decided choosing another caretaker. Who love, who care, who has ability, taking care of the monkey. You not able to take care of baboon able. You not able to bust the rata baboon able. Oh, soldier monkey calm down. Oh, monkey calm down. Monkey calm down. Oh, monkey calm down. Monkey calm down to you. Monkey down to you. Monkey. Oh, soldier monkey calm down to you. Monkey calm down to you. Monkey calm down to you. Monkey chop chop chop. Monkey cannot get tired. Say monkey chop chop yo. Monkey cannot get tired. Monkey chop chop chop. Monkey cannot get tired. Monkey chop chop yo. Monkey cannot get tired.
Keeping banana and the chop stealing is a error. Corruption is a error.
Monkey cannot get tired.
Hey, we wanna live life. That's to live a good life. We wanna live life. That's to live a better life. We wanna live life. That's to live a better life. We wanna live life. That's to live a better life. We wanna live life. That's to live a better life.
You not able to take care of baboon able. You not able to bust the rata baboon able. Oh, soldier monkey calm down. Oh, monkey calm down. Monkey calm down. Oh, monkey calm down. Monkey calm down to you. Monkey down to you. Monkey. Oh, soldier monkey calm down to you. Monkey calm down to you. Monkey calm down to you. Monkey, you not able to take care of baboon able. You not able to bust the rata baboon able. Oh, soldier monkey calm down. Oh, monkey calm down. Monkey calm down. Oh, monkey calm down. Monkey Moki moki come down to yo. Moki gonna down to yo. Moki. Otoja moki come down to yo. Moki come down to yo. Moki come down to yo. Moki chop chop chop. Moki gonna get tired. Moki chop chop yo. Moki gonna get tired. Moki chop chop chop. Moki gonna get tired. Moki chop chop yo. Moki gonna get tired.
Keeping banana and the chop boom. Stealing is a error. A Russia is a error.
Moki gonna get tired.
Hey, me wanna live life. That's to live a good life. Me wanna live life. That's to live a better life. Me wanna live life. That's to live a better life. Me wanna live life. That's to live a better life. Me wanna live life. That's to live a better life.
You not able to take care of Babu Nebo. You not able to bust the ragga Babu Nebo. Oh soldier, monkey calm down. Oh monkey calm down. Monkey calm down. Oh Rob monkey calm down. Monkey calm down to yo. Monkey gonna down to yo. Monkey. Oh soldier, monkey calm down to yo. Monkey calm down to yo. Monkey calm down to yo.
Minister Miguel, DeLong, and yes, DeLong said that let Minister Miguel tell us where he got the money from to buy his home. In less than 6 weeks into his position, he was able to go and get money to buy his home. I think actually we need clarity on that. What's going on between you and the city senator? Why are you coming up with this story?
I really do not want to respond to DeLong. In 1997, DeLong had an opportunity to work with Minister of Justice in the Solicitor General office. And by 98, I was working in the Attorney General office at the time. I was at the University of Liberia, going to school at the university. I don't know which school DeLong was in at the time. But however, he and I worked at the Minister of Justice for 4 years. And I thought DeLong.
You joined Coca-Cola in 1997 from Pillsbury, where you served first in Nigeria as regional manager. Then 3 years later, 2000, you become head of the company's operation in North and West Africa. 1 year later, they push you way up. You become head of all of Coca-Cola's operations in Africa, overseeing its work in 56 countries across Africa. July this year, you appointed Chief Administrative Officer and Executive Vice President, responsible for a range of issues: legal, public communications, human resources. How come a boy from Africa, Liberia, rise up to the highest level in an iconic company like Coca-Cola?
Well, I guess the first answer to the question is I've been very blessed, and not to acknowledge that fact, I think would be betraying why I've had the success I've had. So I've been very blessed. I've also, I think, been very focused and disciplined. I often tell young people that you have to be focused, you have to be disciplined, you have to be willing to take some risk. I was very geographically mobile, so I did not constrain myself to one geography. I took the perspective that I wanted to be successful, and I would do what it took within the rules with some guiding principles to achieve that success. And so as I look at my career, I focused on developing people because I think people is a key to success. It's about establishing a vision for yourself personally and for the organization you lead to make sure you are aspiring for something that's bigger than perhaps people think they can achieve. I've focused on creating the right environment for people to thrive and to be successful. I've also focused on giving back to the communities. So although this is a core part of the values of the Coca-Cola Company, it's also a personal core value to make sure we're giving back to sustain communities where we live and work.
And talking about giving something back to the various communities in which we work, we spoke with Mr. Cummings while he was in Washington, D.C. to attend the Africa Bishop John T. Walker dinner. His company, Coca-Cola, was the chief sponsor of the dinner, which helps Africa raise funds for its many development projects across Africa.
We've had an association with AfriCare for over 2 decades, so it's a long-standing relationship, and we support them in almost all of their key activities in and across Africa. I sit on the board of directors of AfriCare, and so we were very happy and honored to be the national sponsor of the Bishop John T. Walker dinner last night, where, as you
water and bubbles, start making flowers. By the time he said Walker, Queen Johnson see that you're talking to him. If he said he did the right thing to protect his people, go slave before the court. At this point, the impunity in this country is emboldening people to even be more corrupt and do things and to hurt this country with no fear that justice will be meted against them. And so, at the mention of the name War and Economic Crimes Code, those who feel guilty at heart, even the Bible says, even the wicked flee when nobody running after them. At the mention of the name War Crimes Code, Queen Johnson goes into Harry. I think he will run away from session every session because every time I will remind us that we have to do War Crimes Code. We got the culture of impunity must come to an end.
So it seemed as though you intentionally did what you carry on today in this session, because some people believe that the discussion was not in line with the establishment of work.
No, then they don't understand the issue. The issue is about the culture of impunity, transparency and accountability. Transparency and accountability. We're talking about accountability on stimulus package, $25 million for infusion of $25 million in the economy. And we're talking about worker code. These are integrity issues. These are transparency and accountability issues. So,
the senator in session.
last Saturday, by the President of Liberia for advice, implemented that there's a need for.
Senator, didn't you just stated that you?
You did not say order. Another time you see me, you talk about war crime code. I must tell you.
Welcome to the TV. And the vote that coming, the next vote, we have to be careful. Especially me, I will vote trying for people. Black guy, I will vote for black guy for the country to be set. The vote because it will be 3% that will be running.
3% will be running in the coming election.
Yes. We got the vice president with Joe Taylor. Then we got the president Joe Weir. Then Joseph Boakai. It's a 3% that will be running. Actually, that we know about then. You got me? But the size, my only side that we already taking it, and the whole country will take it. It will be Joseph Boakai.
So what you really seeing now? Tell what really making you vex in the whole thing?
What making you vex? The country is looking better. Yeah.
You saw the country looking bad. How you looking bad?
Fine. Thing that we not seen before. We seen it.
What do you see now?
Fine. We never see anything that they say Macro Church. We never see anything.
On the panel of the Justice for Victor campaign and residents of District Number 17 have gathered at the grounds of the Capitol to petition the 54th National Legislature to summon the Inspector General of the Liberian National Police, Colonel Patrick Suru, on grounds that on the 15th of August, Paul Leto Innocent, Victor Famula was murdered with body parts allegedly extracted, and the suspect was arrested and transferred to the Sunset Police Depot, where we have Chief Superintendent Blama Yanse as the Commander-in-Chief. On the 15th, the 16th, the 17th, with the delay to have this murder suspect charged, we foresee the scenario of justice delay and justice being denied. And so on Saturday, which was the 25th, we came on the grounds of Central and we saw the suspect in the custody of the police. Alusin Jallo was there. We came back on Monday. We saw the suspect. He was there. And then the police told us, you go home. And then after a while, if there is a need, we will call you. And so we went home trusting the Liberian National Police as the only agency to protect our life and property and enforce the law and make sure that everyone that commits crime bear the full weight of the law by passing through their office. to our utmost dismay after we left the office of Central on Monday. On Wednesday, we received an intelligence in the evening that the suspect is no longer in the custody of the police at their headquarters. We took it for joy because it was a rumor. Then we went there on Thursday. When we went at Central, the police confirmed that this murder suspect, someone that allegedly murdered 7-year-old child, not just anybody, but a 7-year-old child that has a bright future, has escaped, but I say allegedly escorted by the police from Central. And so it raised contention within us. Up to present, that suspect cannot be accounted for. In fact, the Liberian National Police even made mockery of the family and us by saying that whosoever find this suspect, they will give him $1,000. If Colonel Patrick Sulu and police have already escorted the man, let them take the $1,000 and share it among the police. Let them take it as allowance. They can even take it as a padam.
So your presence,
take it as goodwill.
Your presence.
Today, our presence here, we are calling on the 54th legislature to summon Colonel Patrick Sulu according to our petition that they have received. And we have been given word that it will be read in plenary today. So today, we clear with our statement. Colonel Patrick Sulu must appear before the Liberian people and give reason as to why a murder suspect in his office will walk away under his sleeping ass with all his knowledge. That gave grounds for us to ask ourselves. And now, it said that the police of Liberia are now conspiring with criminals to commit crime, or should we be asking them or asking ourselves that the Liberian National Police is now conspiring with criminals to invade the way of the law? Or maybe we should conclude by saying the Liberian National Police are the doer in disguise. Just find in blue uniform, but go and commit crime and protect themselves. But we don't want to say so because the brother of people will be too heavy on us. But their actions are convincing us to believe that how can you allow a Sierra Leone national, a foreigner, with a murder case? We're not discussing trespassing, we're discussing murder with body parts allegedly extracted. If anybody here is 7 years, let Patrick Sulu call the Bini. Then they start making for. In fact, one critical thing, why Azun says the suspect changed his clothes on a Blama Yanse watchful ass. But then, this is a murder case. The clothes of that suspect will be used as a primary evidence in a forensic investigation. Where is the suspect clothes? We are demanding the Liberian National Police to produce that clothes.
My name is Oshama.
So are you the mother of this child?
Yes.
Please give us your account. How did it happen?
It was on Monday. My mother called me Monday night, 8:30. My mother called me, say my child missing. When she called me, I checked. I went to the police station. And I will continue saying it. I went to the station and registered the case. I in tears, police people look at me and say I should give them money before they cater to my case.
Talking about police at the Zonzes depot.
Pioneer Junction Police Station.
Okay.
Up the track. When I went there, I wanted to make it with nurse. My sister hold me. I said no, and she want money, let she follow behind me. And she want money. When she want money, let she follow behind me. They want my hair oily warm that day for my son. I said that she follow behind me. My sister hold me also. She said that go get on motor, but go to the woman. Let we go look for the labor. We went to the woman. I was having you name and the young man, I was saying Jalo. When I reached, I was crying. He asked me for my phone. I should give him a phone to call his lawyer. Asked him, I said, you ain't who in flour. Or you ain't who making flour before you want to call lawyer. But anything we doing, he said we must go conference center. I said, for me, nothing I drive from me conference center, so I can't go there. As this, I was 2 o'clock in the night. He said we must go conference center. I said, I can't go conference center. So Saturday, when they arrested him to Zone 6 police station, he called me. Me, the one that hurt me in the whole case like here. They never asked the young man question. They never asked him anything. And he's so brave to take phone and call me say, oh, say they bring me here. They never put me in jail. On personal bench. One day they never stepped to our house to even ask us what's going on. So like me and my mother we came Central. When we come Central now like police were able to follow us to our house to ask a few questions that I will explain. Then the Liberian police are brave. Brave. They're killer and they are killer. Liberian police are killer. The one that they do to me. Amen.
They are. Continue.
They are brave. They calling me on my number to go and search for the suspect. I mean supposed to search for the suspect. I mean supposed to search for him. Why they must be so brave for me, Liberian police? So only the foreigner you respect in the country. We the citizens we not get no voice in our own country.
No.
Even they kill you, sell you, calling police, they can't come to your rescue. Why they must be so brave on me? Why they must be so brave on me, Liberian police? Sorry. What? Liberian police must be so brave on me? Amen.
So sorry.
They call me unexpected and they say the person not run away. I'm gonna go search for him. Where I know that he is now, I'm going to search for him.
First of all, we want to extend our sympathy to the Banjo community family, and having listened to a well-written petition by these concerned citizens, I move, if I can obtain a second, that this petition be received and turned over to the Committee on Claims and Petition and the Committee on National Security, if I can obtain a second.
So, sir, I will be ready to vote because this is a sensitive national security issue and some emergency is being attached to that. I'll be ready to vote if you could accept just a simple amendment that the leadership of the House, because it is a very grave matter, take seize of this immediately. When they meet by Tuesday, the leadership can provide full briefing because the leadership needs to get involved directly with the people and that of the police authorities. Very sensitive. It's a very sensitive issue.
Considering the national nature of this issue and its high degree of sensitivity, I accept.
Mr. Carter, welcome. This is KMTV.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel, and it's a pleasure to be on your KMTV.
What is the account of the police when the alleged murderer is now at large?
Firstly, let me register my disappointment that a Liberian citizen will be murdered in cold blood, and some individuals are trying to use the situation to gain political capital.
What does that mean?
It's deep down the air, Shut me off when I beat again. Mama Liberia, we sorry. Mama Africa, we sorry. Mama Liberia, we sorry. Mama Africa, we sorry.
Let me welcome you to the Magnificent Abraka Talk Show. Yeah, we'll do it just for you.
Our story is too long that I can't explain it all.
My friend and brother Daniel, welcome.
It breaks my heart to see you being raped again. It pains my soul to hear you cry for justice. Mama Liberia, stop the rape in Liberia. You were beaten, raped and killed in a Liberian civil war. You cried and cried and cried, but nobody hear you cry. You plead for justice, but no one to help you out. Yeah. Mama Liberia,
my friend and brother,
stop the rape in Liberia.
My friend and brother, this is how we do it here. We are broadcasting to you live from the Magnificent station, the Abraka Network. Let me say what's up to my friend and brother Jonah Tano. My friend Jonah Tano. He has been a friend of mine from our youth days, all the way in Rotterdam. He has been a great friend of mine. But tonight, we intend to bring this to the Liberian people. Is this going to be the ticket? Is this going to be the ticket? Do you think that Mr. Alexander B. Kumi is off? Do you really think so? Or are you foreseeing JMB and Nyomli Kangan Lawrence vying for the presidency and the vice presidency? Is that what we are hearing? Is that what we are hearing around the corner, around the street peddlers? Is that what they are telling the Liberian people? We saw the think tank massive meeting today. Joseph Nimabaka think tank. We saw that massive pledges, massive fundraisings today. Is that how the ticket is going to be? Is that how do you think that there's going to be the ticket that they will be sending to the Liberian people? Or do you foresee Joseph Nimabaka choosing another person as his running mate? Or do you already see Nyomli Kangan Lawrence with the Liberty Party been tearing apart? Now, let me bring you they're born and they're respectful. They're born and they're very respectful. The men that went there, they're born and very respectful. Now bring you a clip.
To send this to the Liberian people and partisans of Liberty Party that the majority bloc
folks, if you just joining us, this is Spoon TV. We are live at the Liberty Party headquarters where Chairman Musa Berete is currently on a house arrest by calling themselves majority bloc of the Liberty Party. This group recently released a press statement saying Chairman Berete should be arrested by the partisans of Liberty Party and turned over to the Liberian National Police. So as we speak, Chairman Berete is here where you have the security barricading his entrance, and you have this group here saying at all costs they will arrest Chairman Berete.
So, and that mandate was conspicuous, emphatic and categorically clear that the name Onismo James, the youth chairperson of Liberty Party, have received a vote of no confidence.
So as we speak, Chairman Berete is here, but the chance of the chairman out is the problem. The guys have barricaded and locked the entrance, preventing the chairman of the Liberty Party from having access to even his vehicle to leave.
Who is now the acting chairperson of the Ghanaian Liberty Party Youth Congress.
This is the chairman who wanted to serve. This is the chairman who wanted to serve. This is the chairman who wanted to serve.
So these are the group calling themselves the majority bloc of the Liberty Party Youth League, who have blocked the chairman of the opposition political party, Liberty Party, from having access to his vehicle. As we speak, Chairman Belete is within this building in his office, but the entrances have been locked and there's no way for Chairman Belete to have access out. So we need the Liberian National Police to come here, even only if this will have to come under control. There you have Chairman Belete and the security providing security for him in order for the guys not to have access to him. But again, the guys are saying by all costs they will arrest their party chairman and turn him over to the Liberian National Police. And their claims are ranging from corruption and mismanagement of the Liberty Party regarding the Constitution. So there we are at the headquarters of the Liberty Party. This is where the chairman is currently being held hostage by few members calling themselves majority bloc of the Liberty Party. And there's no way for him to have access. There's no way for him to have access. So if you're just joining us, this is Spoon TV. Welcome. Welcome. The chairman has no way to get out. And brother, the chairman is here, so we can get it from so we are not for those people's side. So why not necessary? Why not, they are not doing anything bad. We only broadcasting from this side. No, you don't tell me that.
They want camera. Do you ever got permission before you do what you doing?
Come again?
They want
brother.
Stop.
What you want to do? 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 Stay there. No, stop. No, stop. No, stop. Y'all go do your thing. Y'all go do your thing. Y'all go do your thing, my man. So if you're just joining us, we are still here at the Liberty Party headquarters. And there you have the party chairman being held hostage, and the guys are preventing the chairman from having access to his vehicle to leave. According to them, their constitution was manipulated by Chairman Belete, and corruption also is part of their claim. So they are now deciding to arrest the chairman. So let's see how this is going to play out. So let's see how this is going to play out. So if you're just joining us, welcome. So here we are at the Liberty Party headquarters.
I'm doing nothing. I'm going outside.
You know, I just feel sorry for Hassan Belete. Musa Hassan Belete will not get away with certain things. If he can get away with certain things in FIFA or from the Liberian federations, Liberian football federations, there's certain things that you cannot just get away with. Now, the CPP claim. The CPP claim that Mr. Alexander B. Cummings changed the constitutions of the CPP. Let me hear from them. Tonight, I'm not here to talk plenty. I just present you my thought. If you like it, call. If you don't like it, don't call.
Yes, we're ready. Yes.
Good afternoon, gentlemen of the press. No lady. At this table, you see 4 political leaders from the CPP. The former Vice President Joseph Mapuaika, Mr. Ben Ayure, and Senator Lawrence. I know some of you have followed the outcome of our meeting from Belacasa. You were there, we did some of the interviews. There have been issues in the media that we need to address as leaders of the CPP. And there are also issues that unfolded today that we need to inform our partisans and the country about. At the Belacasa meeting, there was a lunch meeting held by the 4 political leaders to discuss some issues about the CPP, but the key issue that has been in the discussion of the press and with our partisans is the issue of the consensus and the extension of the term of the chairperson, who is the political leader of the Liberty Party. I would just want to brief the public about that. That at that meeting, one of the first items on our agenda was to talk about the qualification of political leaders, especially political leaders who were interested in the standard-bearer position of the CPP. And to be qualified for the consensus, you must have had your convention, which is by the regulation of the National Election Commissions and our own framework document before we start the consensus process. Hoping that at the end of the consensus process, one of the candidates will be elected or will be qualified to run on a ticket. So we asked all of the political parties who are interested in the standard-bearer position to inform us if they were prepared for the consensus process, the qualification process. Ambassador Boyka informed the body that the Unity Party had their convention and he has been elected as the aspirant for 2023. Mr. Alexander Cummings informed the body that he has not had his convention and he was going to get back to the body with the timeline and plans from his party before he could speak about his own qualification. On that note, the 4 political parties or 3 political leaders decided that the right thing to do as leaders was to accommodate the ANC and Mr. Cummings by giving him some time to be able to have his convention and come back as the aspirant of the ANC. And so I was asked as the chairperson of the CPP to readjust the roadmap or the metrics that were presented in that meeting, including a timeline for the ANC to have the convention and come back, and while we push everything else further. When all of the political leaders agreed, in fact, Mr. Alexander Cummings, after his statement of agreement, He also reiterated that it was a good thing to have Senator Lawrence from the Liberty Party, who has no interest in vying for the presidency, to guide this process between he and Ambassador Boakai, since the both of them were interested in the presidency seat. And that was an agreement among the four political leaders at that meeting. Right after the meeting, we were informed a few hours later that the ANC did not agree to that decision that was made by the political leader, Mr. Cummings, and that their decision would have been published to inform the public that they did not agree because it's not in line with our framework document. We came here today as leaders of the CPP to have some of those discussions around what has happened after that meeting and to go further into the metrics, because the adjustment was made and Mr. Cummings should have told us today about his own timeline with his convention to be included in the metrics. And before the meeting started, and we called on the committee that we also agreed on at the Belacasa meeting, addressing the issue from Mr. Bernard Ayure about the framework document, representing the four political parties. And all of us political leaders of the four political parties sent in names to represent us on that committee that will go through our different framework documents just to ensure that they're harmonized and before we have it sent off for verification. Again, Mr. Alexander Cummings insisted, after he has agreed to this committee and nominated Councillor Yafa as the ANC person to this committee, he decided to walk out of this meeting because he said he doesn't support that committee any longer because it's not in line with the framework. So we have to report this to our policies and to the leaders of our CPP structures that there's a need for us to look at this framework document further, which has been requested by Mr. Ure. And the three leaders are here, and we all are going to speak to the press today. Mr. Boakai will talk about his experience with the Calabash meeting, and Mr. Ure will speak further on the framework document, since, in fact, he raised the issue of concern on that document. Thank you.
Well, let me start with where we started, where we agreed originally on the 6-month rotation. When Mr. Ure became the organizing chairman of ARC, we saw the need to extend his stay to 8 months. And based on that, Mr. Cummings also came in to spend 8 months. But we also noticed that Mr. Cummings went beyond the 8 months, even without even referring to us. He went beyond the 8 months without any notification, and we allow him to go up. The idea is each person that comes to the stage comes with a mandate. At that meeting, we realized the issues that the chair lady had been encountering, her party and all of it, and we felt that in view of all of those things there, we needed to focus because we were about to take over, wanted to make sure that she dealt with the issue that she was supposed to deal with during her tenure. And that issue was a matter of dealing with a consensus, which she had outlined. When we came to that, Mr. Cummings said, after he heard that I was now endorsed to represent the Unity Party, he said he too will have to go and talk to his people about a convention, not telling us that there is a date, say I'm going to discuss a convention, meaning that they will go discuss, they will agree on a date. In view of that, I said to the chair lady, give us a schedule of all your remaining activities so that we know how much time you need so that we extend your stay to finish before you turn over to us. And we all agreed to that, including factoring in Mr. Cummings' own when he had given the name of whoever was to represent this party. We left just to hear later on that Mr. Cummings has said he did not agree to such an arrangement. And it's strange because not every time we decide, be the political leader will decide on an issue, then the next day again somebody have a change of mind. That's not the way to run an institution. So today we're here to come with respect to the issues that were written. And for God in heaven's sake, we are full political party. If even at a very last minute that there's something that we see that there's a need to correct, we have a right to do so. Mr. Ure has expressed concern about the framework document, and we all saw the need to review it, to retrieve it from the NEC so that we go through it and make sure we are all satisfied. Nobody wants to go into this without being satisfied. And today we set up a committee, as you heard from the chair lady, that Mr. Cummings nominated someone to represent his party. And today we came to decide to indulge the group. He refused because he brought in another argument that it was the NEC. The NEC cannot decide for us. We have a concern. We appointed committee members. We are supposed to commission them to go and do a piece of therapy. And that's the way we feel it should happen. Now, out of four, you always cannot be the one to decide what we should do. We all read, we all know what's in the document. It's our right to appoint a committee, especially with an issue that a key member of the full political party had raised concern. So that's where we are right now. And he walked out. This is right to walk out. But we're going to continue to make decisions that will guide our principles, decisions that will make sure that we continue to work as we have agreed. That's where we are.
Mr. Ure will speak to the framework.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would firstly want to give a general synopsis of the meeting that was held at Calabash Hotel. On the agenda were basically 4 items: consensus, the framework document, the what? By-elections, and the selection of candidates from the by-election, and the 4 political party men. And we had very good discussions. The atmosphere was very cordial. We joked, we laughed, and we...
You know, on another day, we'll try to bring a guest from the from the ANC to explain to us what really happened. That Mr. Alexander B. Cummings walk out of the meeting. What really happened? They need to explain to us. They need to explain to us what really happened that Mr. Alexander B. Cummings walk out of the meeting. The 3 political leaders, they are saying, look, but they will need to come here. I will try how possible to bring one of them here so they can explain to us what really happened. What really happens that I don't want to believe what Nyombli is saying. I don't want to believe what Joseph Nwabwaka is saying. I don't want to believe what Ben Nayure is saying. I want to hear it from the man who walked out of the meeting, from one of his disciples. I want to hear from one of his disciples. So if you are an ANC follower, or you are an ANC party member, please call me after the show so we can arrange something. Because you guys need to explain to us what happened. Like today, we saw two other political leaders endorsing JMB. But we never saw Azana B coming. I don't want to play the clip from that meeting. I don't want to play that clip. I will hold my peace until we can get ANC memo here to explain to us what is it. Is it walk out of the meeting because of small Sheen is better than big Sheen? Or something else happened out of the way? Or something else happened out of the way? Is it true that the constitution that was carved by the four political parties, it was not that constitution that was hand delivered to NEC? Is that true? Or is that true that NEC received a photocopy of the constitution instead of the original copy? Or is that true that the constitution was altered? Some of the pages were misplaced in the federal constitution. That signature point was misplaced. Or is that true that Mr. Kumi never even did it? Now, there were 4 copies, according to Mr. Ben Nayuri. 4 copies was to be distributed among the 4 political parties. Normally, Kanga says he never received 1 copy. Joseph Nwabwaka said he never received any copy. The Ben Nayure never received any copy. What happened to those copies? That is the question that the ANC people need to respond to. For me, I will make my declaration very soon. But we have to know where the various political parties stand. Whether are going to the CDC, whether are going to the CPP, whether are going to LPDP, whether are going to LPP, or whether are going to Mr. Prince Y. Johnson party, or whether are going to the coalition. I cannot tell you yet. But we need to know the point. What Mr. Alexander B. planning? What is Mr. Alexander B. Kumi's plans? So keep your call coming on 215-824-8124 or 267-938-2801. Yeah, keep your call coming now. Because the thing, I will hold on to all of my clips until we can get ANC memo here to explain to us what have gone wrong. Keep your call coming on 215-824-8124 or 267-938-2801. 01. Yeah. Keep your call coming on, or better hold your peace. Keep your call coming on. Just that and more, and explain. Oh, what are Nyambli Kanga endorsing Joseph Nyuma Boakai? Because you want to be VIP. Or what? People need to explain this to us. We need more explanations. I am hearing in the breeze that JMB will choose Nyambli. That's why I'm hearing in the breeze. And if that's true, if that is true, then what happened to Minister Alexander B. Cummings? You, the caller, you better know. Call me now. Now take our first call. Caller, what is the name and where are you calling out from?
Yes, Mr. MC, thank you. My name is Elizabeth Tony Cordy Piketty. I'm calling from Paris, France.
Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Yeah, thank you. This morning I just got up. It's about 5 to 6 o'clock in the morning here in France. But it's interesting to know that the ANC are not ready or exaggerating on the social media concerning the accusation against their political leader, you know, and Mr. Cummings. You see, because this is very disgraceful for a leader to go behind his colleagues and finger the Constitution. You see what is happening in our society since the 80s.
But Nyambli being a political leader, Nyambli called for the constitutions that was submitted to NEC. Nyambli look at Nyambli said, no, but this is not what we signed up for.
Yeah. We gotta be smart at this time, all Liberians. You see, because we are suffering from those behaviors since the 80s. This is what happened to us in the 80s. This is why our country is not stable today. Because you go behind the people, the paper they give you to go and type or do something. You go and do it in your interest and forget about the masses. Okay? And forget about the people you're doing it for. So you are doing it for who? Self-interest. So we don't need those kind of leaders no more. I think we need to put and to electing people like Mr. Cummings, who go behind to change documents in his favor and forgetting the destruction that could bring to the masses. You see? Okay, there's a party. But take it to our 1986 Constitution. This is why today we are not stable. This is why we don't have no good governance system. This is why our mechanism was broken down. And we all advocating so that it can get back on track. You see? It's bad to do that to an institution. You break it down. See? And this is why it's happening now. And thank God that we are seeing these things now. Coming up before we could not see it. We don't everybody just asking questions. What already happened to the 1918 referendum? Nobody wants to talk about it. But now we know those people like that involved go and destroy you and come and be part of you and profit the situation. These are people like Mr. Cummings. And I think Mr. Cummings has just blocked his way to the Liberian people. Because even if we say that they are not that well educated on the ground today, but I think thanks to social media, they are getting the message. You cannot no more go through them. You can go and play behind them. And what Mr. Kosa was saying is true. If we put those kind of people in power, it would be dangerous for us. Because he will corrupt the same thing will go on. Okay? He will go and give money to people, and he wants this to pass, he will give money to people. Why are we saying that we want our jurisdiction to function well?
Yeah, but okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
What is the name and where are you calling out from?
Yeah, my name is Bakawa. I'm calling from Pennsylvania, particularly Philadelphia.
What do you make of the ticket?
Yeah, but this is really embarrassing, and people need to stop taking side in the process because this will destroy the CPP. If people continue to do that, I'm not CPP partisan. I don't believe in political institutions. I believe in pro-democracy organization. That's my field. But if I look at this thing, it's so disturbing that I don't think, and I don't know, man. I don't know all the variables that are going on, but the fact of the matter, it would be very, very difficult to change any constitution, bylaws, and constitution of any organization. So if the ANC is the one in charge of the bylaws and constitution of the CPP, then that's unfortunate. That's not how you do document processing. This is what we talk about, people who want to run Liberia. If they can start by failure in their own organization that have not even pushed into power yet, in this kind of manner that one group of people are in charge of the bylaws and constitution, it doesn't work like that. I've been a member of the organization my whole life. After writing a bylaws and constitution and everybody's signatory to it, the copy go to everybody. Once the copy go to everybody and people are in charge of this copy, how will you change that? If nobody can change it, because you can change the copy you have.
Yeah,
but you cannot change.
But according to, you never listen to the three candidates. There were 5 copies. 5 copies of the Constitution that were prepared. 5. One copy was to go to NEC. Another copy was to go to each political party. Now, they saw to aid that I come in. Hold on, I come in. Now, the many Nyamli Kanga requested, because somebody from INEC told Mr. Benayure that the constitution that they saw also, that is not the same constitution that was given to NEC. In fact, it was a photocopy.
Man, the photocopy doesn't matter, my brother. What I'm trying to say here is that, have anybody pointed a particular article within the constitution that was changed? Have anybody pointed that article?
Yes.
Which article was that?
They point to the article that says,
which number of the article? Because we have to be careful here what we say.
I can play you back the clip. I can play you back the clip.
You can what?
I can play you back the clip.
Okay, this is a deal, my brother. I've been member of the organization throughout. When we read about, you talking about 5 copies, that's embarrassing. It should be more than 100 copies. And the one NEC is in possession of, this is now argument process. They should be discussed between the ACO consortiums of eminent people of the organization.
Have you asked Mr. Alexander B. Cummings why did he walk out of the meeting?
I don't even have access to it. If he did walk out of the meeting, that's too is disgraceful. You cannot do that. Even when you and somebody disagree, you have to sit down at the table and discuss your issue. You don't, as a political leader for an organization, it's shameful on the part of Mr. Comey if you will walk out of that meeting. Just imagine if this man is a president of the Republic of Liberia and he's in charge of all the variables. He's in charge of the security. He's in charge of everything. If somebody says something, then you just want to walk away. That's not an example of a leadership. Mr. Alexander Comey did that. That's so embarrassing and disturbing. And his supporters, they need to stop going to social media and fighting people. Yeah, this thing needs to be discussed my brother, between these political institutions. They should not take it to social media for everybody to make judgment. And once you do that, like the way the situation is now, it's so toxic, and everybody insulting each other for the same political collaboration. If you guys can do those kind of fraud, if it ever happened, I'm not saying that it did not happen. I don't have all the variables. That's what I told you from the beginning. If that did really happen, somebody go and tamper with those kind of legal documents, I think that kind of person should go to jail for people that tamper with that legal documents. Okay. And besides, it's scary that people that we expect are going to come tomorrow and make changes, and if they are starting to go undercover like that and do those kind of crook deal and do those kind of behavior, what I believe is shameful on the part of CPP. These are talk show men, and they need to come to them and make them to understand that there are some classified issues that you don't just go on social media and start insulting each other. Because I can guarantee you, the big hand there, once you get a lot of interest group in organization, you got to be careful what you discuss online, what you don't discuss online. Thank you very much for taking my call. Thank you. This kind of way is so embarrassing, man.
Cora, what is your name and where are you calling out from?
Hello, AB. This is Evangeline.
Says Evangeline, how you doing?
Yes. I just, AB, honestly, the place where I am right now, I just, anybody can hear me out here. We need, they say guy from Guinea that just overthrew, I don't know what they call him. We need somebody like Dumbuya to pull all of CWP, WPP, ANC, CDC, to pull all of them away. I just need, let's look at people crying every day, the children dying. 2 days ago, we had Serena Sifa and Sefa or whatever his name is, and Ellen Kruger then confessing. All the political leaders, you don't see them doing all day they fighting, power, greed, all of that. So y'all won't wait till when you become president, or when you open your mouth to criticize anything just we are doing. And what I seen they going to, they ain't think that we are winning again.
Yeah.
And that's all they're doing. Just bickering on Facebook, cussing each other. It's just a turn off. I don't even know who to turn to. When I look at all of them, I'm like, And I just pray God to send us somebody to rescue us. We're tired. All the people that we're supposed to look up to now, everybody just crooked. You don't hear none of them opening their mouth, killing what they're killing the children. They're sacrificing to hold the government to their feet and say, what's going on here? When you listen to other country, like the opposition, they active doing things in the country like holding the government feet to the fire. Our own empire, they just sit down, yeah, bro. When they say there's politics coming out, when you can hear them making noise. And I'm like, when? I just want somebody new, maybe to come on. Yeah, please. We need, is anybody there in our country anymore that looked at this guy from Guinea to kick, excuse my language, asses and put the people in their places? I'm tired, man. You want all day just bickering, arguing, get a small children, we tired with them. I don't even want to hear them. That's why I'm not supporting anybody yet. I don't care about anybody right now. I only concerned about what's going in our country. People that it's like nobody cares. Everybody just waiting for them to get in power. To what? Thank you for your show, man. Abraham.
Thank you. Thank you. If you are following us, keep your call coming out on 215-824-8124 or 215. Let's take another caller here. Caller, what is the name and where are you calling us from?
This is Ali Kamara. I'm calling from Maryland. AB, how you doing today?
I'm doing quite all right. And you?
We're hanging in there, taking it day by day. God's grace.
Caller, hold on the line. I coming to you. I will soon take it. Go ahead.
Like some of us always said from the beginning, since 2016, 2017, we've always said that we were going to make sure that Alexander Cummings would never become president of Liberia. It's not because he doesn't have the education, the formal education. It doesn't mean because he's not competent, but it just simply means, in my opinion, he's not qualified. There's a difference between being competent and being qualified. You know, he's not qualified in my opinion, and he does not have the requisite experience to run that country. And
you
I've
think
always
so?
said, yes, yeah, he has a narrow job experience working in a field or two. That does not amount to running a diverse and complicated, a broken system that has been broken for 174 years. And for a guy who has been out of the country for 45 years, doesn't even know the tradition of one of the 16 tribes and what they need, and he just go there and develop the country because he's a new man. I mean, it don't make any sense. I don't see why people would think that Alexander Cummings can make a difference in Liberia. He just doesn't know it. And I've always told people from the get-go, Alexander Cummings is not innocent. Alexander Cummings is a proceed or a descendant of the form of the old bourgeoisies. Alexander Cummings is a redeemer of the Masonic generation. Is coming to redeem those people. Alexander Cummings is on a mission. Mark my word, AB. Alexander Cummings is not as rich as his ANC followers and pundits try to make it seem. The money Alexander Cummings is throwing around, he getting it from somewhere. Now the source of that money is what we need to investigate and analyze. Why are they giving him such bulk of money? Why can't they give such money to Joseph Boakai? Because Joseph Boakai's name is Numa Boakai. Why would they give it to him rather than somebody named Alexander Benedict Cummings? So there is something undertone, there is something underplaying here, and there is a group of people that want to return, but they want to return in a manner with the cliche that they take their country back. My only advice to, we support JMB, and we think JMB is the most qualified and most experienced. In fact, there's no.
But what do you think that I should support JMB? Why do you think so?
AB, the reason why you should support JMB is simple: patriotism and nationalism. Do you want to see a country that is governed by a steady hand or a steady head? Do you want to see a country that is governed by someone who understands the in and out of the country?
Yeah, but just on your podcast, one will say, just on your JMB spent the 25 year in power. He have enjoyed. He has spent sufficient time, so that is enough.
But Joe Biden, I know we love to compare things in America, which we should not be doing.
I don't want for you guys to compare liberal politics
but
with American politics.
For the benefit of argument, Joe Biden been in government for over 47 years. Does that mean he shouldn't have become president of the United States? What we are saying to you is this, and we know the argument on the other side. Okay, Joseph Numa Boakai served in government for about 25 years in total, not 40 years. Those are exaggeration.
25 years.
25 years. And his first higher government portfolio was LPMC managing director, which he did excellent and a fabulous job. You understand what I'm saying? At the Ministry of Agriculture, he did a wonderful job. But then our critics will ask us, where are the records? But AB, when the man did the work, after the man finished doing the work, the same critics went and brought civil war. They said they were freedom fighters. They burned down LPMC. They burned down the National Archive Center and looted the National Archive Center. They looted every document, even the government vehicles. Then they're asking for a record. How will you ask for a record when you already burned the record? You understand what I'm saying?
I understand you.
Okay. However, this man worked with people. His colleagues are alive. His former colleagues are alive.
JMB work, and there's not a single hand of a single paper of massive corruption on his record. That one I can give it to him. I can give it to him.
You see, so when we're talking about clean people in the CPP, JMB is the actual clean man, and we're trying. And let me just send this caveat to some of the United Party folks. Some of us are not in the United Party.
Okay.
We're not being paid to do what we're doing. We're trying the hardest for the sake of the country.
I need to save the country from the hand of the tyranny.
Yes. Okay. And we see disrespect coming from some United Party people. And one of the persons who disrespected me a couple of days ago is George Lobo. And I was very surprised that you disrespect me.
Michael Tipperson, welcome.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The audacity of blocking my number, blocking me on Facebook. When you and I are on the same side, you're getting recognition. You have a position. You possibly could work in the government. I have nothing to gain other than fighting for Liberia. Why are you blocking me? That's stupidity and that's immaturity on a part of some of Joseph Yumabaka people who are campaigning for him. So they should recognize some of us who are volunteering ourselves for free without any giving interest. I have no interest in government job. I've never worked in government before, and I will not work in government. So they should be respectful and incorporate those who are trying to help them. You know, I talk with a few people in the United Party hierarchy, and they have a lot of respect for me. But I'm just saying, a guy like Lobo must change the way he behaves. He should stop being disrespectful to people.
I will communicate that to Lobo and attend him.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Lama Yonton, welcome. Hello?
My brother, how you doing?
I'm doing quite all right, Lama. How yourself?
No, man, I'm doing wonderful, man. Thanks for the show. We are proud of everything you do in the best interest of Mama Liberia,
Mm-hmm.
especially as we get towards crucial times, in our country history, moving towards 2023.
But
We have
moving,
everything at stake.
but moving towards 2023, we are now seeing one of the political leader in person of Alexander B. Cummings walk out of the meeting. He walked out of the meeting, and he was not there to endorse JMB today.
Well,
what do you think that happening?
I think when it comes to Mr. Zanambi comments, we just have enormous amount of respect and admiration. But the respect and admiration that I have, is something that he brought along with him from the private sector. What we have seen so far with this character since his entry into politics has been dubious attempt to use cash manipulation at every level of his political dealings.
You think so?
You will agree with me that when the ANC started on featuring a political candidate, that was before the 2017 election, before Mr. Cummings even came to the fray. They had been on carrying Clements. It was because of cash manipulation and negotiation that led the ANC executive at the time to dump Clements along the wayside and settle in for Alexander Cummings. This has been his history. So what is happening now in the CPP is not very strange to any one of us. We believe that Cummings' political track record is infested with manipulation and fraud, and the Liberian people are beginning to see this unravel every single day. But to a more important point, I know one of the callers, was asking about some details in terms of structure of the framework document that was manipulated and altered alongside with the backing of the ANC by Musa Belede. And we want to be very clear on the record for this. We have done comprehensive analysis of the framework document. And the framework document has been changed on 4 fronts. Both in structure and content.
You mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Both in structure and content. It's been changed in clauses and operationalized definition that is contained within the document, as well as the infusion of additional clauses that those who thought that it was necessary to have changed and altered this legal document that would be best suited for them. It is important also to note that when the framework document was signed, it was signed by the 4 political leaders with the hope that that document will immediately be sent to the National Elections Commission. But what happened, that did not happen. In fact, it took the Liberty Party under the chairmanship of Musa Belede additional 2 months before the document was signed, before the document was submitted to NEC. In fact, it took 2 months for it to have been notarized. So between the signing of the framework document and the submission of the final copy to the National Elections Commission, those folks took 2 months to do all of the altering that we are now talking about within the document. And if I have the time, we can go over some of the detailed, comprehensive analysis we've done between the 2 documents. The 2 documents, the one that was retrieved from the National Elections Commission, plus the one that was signed, the original document that was signed by the political leaders. So we're clear that this. I
think we need you to come here to explain to the Liberian people what is it, what are the 4 clauses that were tampered with. We will need sufficient time, but you can go ahead.
Yeah, we can make some time for that. But I would say this much, right? Take for example, within the original within the original document, there was not a specified operationalized definition spelled out in any clause that talk about the health situation. Now, the document that was submitted to the National Elections Commission, the Musa's Belete / Alexander Cummings document, that Mr. Cummings has often been in most recent time quoting, has included a clause that clearly talk about if you want to be the eligibility of becoming standard bearer of the CPP, you must be in good health. Now, how do you measure that? It is only them who know. Even if we talk about the headquarters of the collaborating political parties is one thing that's also on a serious question of contention between the author document and the original document. Now, the original document is clear. It's clear that the national headquarters of the CPP will be determined by the executive committee. Now, in the author document, they've changed that. All right. What are we having a situation where one party gets to take the chairmanship of the collaborating political parties and start to seek on for permanent secretariat to be formed, as opposed to what is enshrined in the framework document for rotating secretariat. So these are clear manifestation of how manipulative Mr. Cummings is to use the base, the Musa ability base, which doesn't even exist in terms of numerical strength, to determine that the Labour Party will alter this document in the favor of the ANC to winning the CPP nomination. Now, we have always argued that if you want to go to a process and you say your hands are clean, go to the process with a clean hands. To not, engage and indulge into manipulation, cash maneuvering all around the place and hope that you can buy delegates at the 11th hour to win the CPP primary. This is not what the process is about.
But what I saw today, what I saw yesterday, I saw an endorsement for Nyomli Kanga, who is the political leader from a party where Musa Hassan Belete is from. I saw an endorsement from Benana Ure. What does that say to you?
Well, it clearly says that the independence and of the individual constituent political parties are well and in shape. That each constituent party has the right to determine who they support for the CPP standard bearership. All right, the ALP has been cleared from day one. The political leader of the All Liberian Party, given the context in time and the best evidence as per the 2017 general presidential results, it's clear that he has no pathway to the presidency in 2023. So he's been very clear that he will wait his support to someone with proven history of leadership, with someone who has been tested over time. There's this adage that says that we all go through the test of times, right? In our personal life, in our political life.
Yeah, hold on.
But only strong men survive those tests of time. And Joseph Human Boakai
can I ask this before I question?
25 years of his public service.
Lama, hold on. A quarter year, I want to ask you. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. I really like his expose. But what he's not doing that we don't understand is that the teachings the other people made, because there's a witness in this case here. The article, they copied that neck gear, nobody can change that. You can change whatever you have. But when the one that neck has, you cannot change that.
No, but they never changed the one neck has. They changed it. No, I come in now. They changed it before they could take it to neck.
So they all did not read over this document, and delegation from each of the political institutions accompany each other to NEC. That one
but when you are a political leader, that's the reason why. That's the reason. All four of them they trust each other. So they gave the copy to Mr. Cummings. They gave the final copy to Mr. Cummings. One to be distributed to NEC. One is to be distributed. One is to be distributed to the very political party. Now, Mr. Cummings, before he could carry the NEC on a copy, they changed it. In fact, NEC received photocopy.
Yeah, so what I'm saying now is that, my brother, you see administrative error. What NEC will usually do is this. You cannot even give one copy, file copy to Mr. Cummings and a thousand to go and submit it to NEC. It does not make sense to you. And secondly, if Mr. Cummings even do that, once NEC go through the process, NEC will forward copy to each of the signatories to that copy, and the signature to that copy have to confirm it to NEC that yes, indeed, we all agree, and this is our signature. NEC is an independent party; it's not part of them. So NEC will say, okay, everybody agree with it. Like when you go to court, the jury say yes, somebody is guilty. The judge will still ask the jury, is this your true and your verdict? The jury have to admit in the open court that yes. Each jury, they can call everybody one by one.
Does he say?
So what NEC can do, when NEC receive document from somebody, NEC will, because it's a collaborating political institution, even when you do article of incorporation for a business, the NEC will, all the signatures to that article of incorporation, NEC will resend email to everybody, like United Party, whatever party that is involved in collaboration or something, NEC will send individuals copy to all of them back again and say, read through it and confirm that this is what you all agree on. And when you all say yes and respond back to NEC, yeah, the copy you sent me, exactly that's what we have.
You know what NEC did that?
NEC just have to do it. NEC cannot certify it. NEC can't do that. NEC will never certify it because NEC don't know why you put discuss outside there. The situation that we found ourselves in now, this is what NEC is afraid of.
Let's listen to Lama.
Yeah, my question to the caller is that let him read the places that were changed. Let him read the order what they put there and compare to what was there originally. Because he really only what was there originally.
Lama, the brother is saying that you should be able to read
both
for the audience tonight the clauses that were changed.
Yeah.
From which one to which one?
So, thank you very much. Right. That's what I want.
So just give me, let he just hold his peace. We can do that, right? Because it's important that we provide the kind of information that is necessary for public consumption so that our partisans all over can know exactly what is going on. You know, the ANC is hiding crying wolf, but at the same time manipulating the process leading to the primary. Now, like I said, right, the framework document, the original framework document that was signed, was temper-waived, and the one that was submitted to the National Elections Commission was notarized 2 months after it was signed by the political leaders, and it was altered. Now, I'll give the first instance, like I was saying, regarding the headquarters, right? Now, the headquarters in the second document that was submitted to the National Election Commission called for the determination of the headquarters of the CPP to be determined through a resolution signed by absolute majority of the executive committee members of the CPP. That was not included in the original document. In fact, in the original document, if you have a copy of that original document, in Article 3, it talks about the national headquarters of the CPP. And Section 3.1 is clear that the office of the alliance shall host the secretariat and shall be located in Monrovia. Okay? Mm-hmm. So that was changed, that the office, which is a rotating office by each of the constituent party, depending on who holds the chairmanship of the CPP, was entirely changed. Was changed to determine that the headquarters should be to a resolution that will be signed and brought into effect by absolute majority of the executive committee members of the CPP. That is the change. Now, if you go further into the framework document, it also talks about membership to the alliance, right? Now, the original document in section 5.3 talks about party-based membership. It is very clear that membership to the alliance is open to accredited political parties. That is what we have in the original document that can be found in section 5.3.1. Now, in the document that was submitted to the National Elections Commission, it was changed. It was changed to something else, right? Just a minute.
To something else. What is that something else?
Now, the document that was submitted to the National Election Commission says something entirely different. It said that party-based membership to the alliance is open to any accredited political party recommended by at least 2 of the constituent political parties.
Okay.
And vetted by the CPP membership committee consistent with the guidelines and procedures developed by the membership committee. Now, so you see what they're including?
Yeah.
First of all, 2 parties must decide, because two or more parties will make the majority of the constituent party, must decide, and then we'll have a membership committee that will come and determine whether it's possible or not to get membership into the collaborating political party. That is quite different from what the original document says. The original document left it open because, at the time this framework document was developed under the chairmanship and leadership of Mr. Bernard Ure, there were a lot of things that were left open because we could not have been so conclusive about certain things. So we thought that it would be necessary that as time evolves, things will play out, the political process will play out, and we will be able to determine some of these things.
Okay.
Take, for example, the guidelines. The guidelines now that Mr. Cummings is arguing on that contravenes every action that's been taken by the Labour Party, the ALP, and the Unity Party. The guidelines were left open, squarely and solely, so that the political leaders can have the opportunity to meet and determine what the guidelines will look like moving towards the primary. So they will have a committee set up to draft and develop that guideline and find the best practice methodology to which we can go to the voting process. Now, they are against the process of block voting as opposed to individual voting. But there is nothing in the original document that says individual voting, just as they are arguing there's nothing in the document that says block voting. So it is incumbent upon the authority of the framework document that is invested in the political leaders meeting from time to time to determine how to proceed with this effort. So I think the ANC is playing games. The reason why they are not trying foul play is that all of their tactics, all of their schemes to circumvent the process, to ensure that the process is characterized with fraud and manipulation has been unearthed. And so this is why they are now, playing crying wolf and foul play. But they are not an honest party, and I think it's about time for them to get the acts together.
Thank you, Lama. I think Mr. Adolphus is waiting for you and him to come to have a debate on the show. I will phone you after the show. Thank you very much for your elaborations. Thank you very much. Folks, that's how we like to do it here on the Manessa Nabraka Talk Show. I'm Ben, your lead host, Uze Abraham. So, I've been your lead host, Uze Abraham K. Kamara. Better call me now or hold your peace. We have only a few more minutes here. So, we'll do it like this. For me, I am not talking here. I'm not talking. People just reading. What Lama just explained is like it made no difference from what Nyambli explained. It made no difference for what his political leader, Mr. Wilfred Ure, explained. So I'm waiting. I'm cleverly waiting I'm waiting for the ANC people to come to tell us what happened, what went wrong, to come and tell us that. I'm waiting. So keep your call coming at on 215-578-1050 or 215-824-8124. Keep your call coming at or better hold your peace. Yeah. So that how we'll let to go home.
Now why you have to take it? It pains my soul to hear you cry for justice. Mama Liberia, stop the rape in Liberia. You were beaten, raped and killed in a Liberian save the world. You cried and cried and cried, but nobody hear you cry. You plead for justice, but no one to help you out.
The music was sung by Ticon Smith, a Liberian. He and his darling wife make this beautiful music, and I'm urging all of my subscribers to go down YouTube to tap in Ticon Smith, and you will see this music. Let us be able to promote our fellow Liberians. Let us be able to promote them. You know, it is this music. It is worth because I have listened to it, and I strongly believe that this music worth. So what much we do? At this point in time, we'll let to
Mama Liberia.
We'll let to recognize 3 individuals here before we go. I would like to recognize Precious Dopo, one of my constant listeners. Pa Thomas Smith, and Telewan Jiba, and Regina Benson, Rebecca Weir, Emmanuel Jesse, Wash Roberts, Evangeline Mamita, Hawa Newman, Ruth Gordon, Elizabeth Hans, Elizabeth Pacatier. So those are my followers that need pop-ups on my stream. So I thought it was to recognize all of you. And Olivia Johnson, thank you very much for tuning in, and I will see you when I see you. Joseph Bendy, yes, Joseph Bendy, thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye for now.
The rift in Liberia. Now why you have to go through the shams and pains, neglected and disappointed? Sweet line of liberty, Mama Liberia. With the tears that flow from your eyes, you keep on pressing on. Despite of the shame we brought you through, you never close your door on us. Wipe your tears from your eyes, I know everything will be okay. Wipe your tears from your eyes, I know you will be alright. So I say,
let me say to all of my followers, those of you guys that love the Magnificent Abraka Talk Show, do it, go on YouTube, tap in Unze Abraham, and subscribe to my channel. And subscribe to my channel. My channel name Unze Abraham, MZEE and Abraham. Just go there, just subscribe all the time when we're doing show here. All of my show, my power show, is all on YouTube. Thank you.
Stop the rape in Liberia. Stop the rape in Africa. Stop the hits in Liberia. Stop the hits in Africa. You can help and say,
stop the rape in Liberia.